Mr. Deputy Speaker.
Order. Questions for oral answer. Ms. Denise Poh.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, an applicant must be a citizen or a permanent resident of Singapore to qualify for civil legal aid. The qualifying criteria for legal aid are twofold. First, the applicant must satisfy the means test. Second, the applicant must show that he or she has a good reason to bring or defend the case under the law, otherwise known as the merits test. To pass the current means test, an applicant's disposable income cannot be more than $10,000 per year, and his disposable capital cannot be more than $10,000. Last November, Parliament passed the Legal Aid and Advice Amendment Bill. MinLaw intends to adopt the per capita household income, or PCHI, and the annual value of the applicant's residence, savings and investments as the new criteria to replace disposable income and disposable capital. The changes will simplify the means test, align the criteria with those under other social assistance and support schemes, and also shorten the application process time. There will be no material impact on the number of households eligible for legal aid provided by the Legal Aid Bureau. The bill also gives us greater flexibility to help applicants with extenuating circumstances. So there is an element of discretion that is built into the amendment bill, as the member might recall from the debate. We target to announce the detailed means criteria and effect the changes by the end of this year. Applicants who fail the means test may seek help from the Law Society Pro Bono Services, the Community Justice Centre, and more than 50 other legal clinics run by various community, religious and voluntary welfare organizations. The Ministry provides applicants who do not qualify for the means test, as well as members of the public who inquire about avenues of legal assistance, with a list of legal clinics and online resources with which the applicants may use to find a suitable lawyer. Thank you, sir.
Ms. Denise Poh.
I thank the Minister for his response, and also thank SMS for being always very helpful when we write in for such support, and so thank you for that. My question is this. The current access to legal aid seems to be very limited for many of our residents, and especially for those who are not wealthy. I think those who are very low income, I think they have better access. Those who are wealthy, they probably don't need so much of this aid. But those who are in the average income, so I wanted to know if MinLaw would be able to provide even more details on how it will assist families with such needs, especially in areas like the letter administration that's required when somebody passes away and the family passes away, especially when things like lasting power of attorney and so forth. Is there a way by which we can, as technology advances, that we can do more DIY help, so that mortals like us can actually help them, sign up for some of these required legal documentation?
I thank the member for the comments. On the first point, certainly with the advent of the amendments and the criteria that we will use, we expect that the process will be easier to use, simplified, and we believe also that with the discretion portion, that there will be a more justicious use of that discretion to apply to needy cases. So there's a bit more latitude. And we expect on our estimate that with the new amendments, looking at the PCHI and the other criteria, that approximately 25% of all households in Singapore would qualify under that criteria. So there is a fair breadth of coverage with the new means test in place. On the member's second point, I agree, and I think we previously said in this House that matters such as estate administration, especially for smaller estates where the value is not significant, sometimes the cost of having to apply for the letter of administration outweighs the benefits. So we are, as I've said previously in this House, looking at ways of simplifying estate management and administration, including making the process a lot more straightforward. I'm not sure if it can be DIY, but it will be a lot more straightforward so that it will be easier to manage, easier to navigate, and one doesn't have to incur significant resources to spend on getting the letters of administration. We are also looking at how to help families upstream in terms of the estate planning upfront before we even get to the stage. And I've also previously announced that we have a Moments of Life portal that will be launched. The beta version will be launched end of this year, where there's a lot more assistance and there's a lot more intuitive use of the portal to help families to navigate this process and also to make planning ahead of the end of life moment itself. Thank you.
Yes.
I thank SMS for the clarifications. I just want to clarify, does the assistance rendered by the Legal Aid Bureau, does it also extend to various miscellaneous administrative fees? For example, with certain court fees, does the Legal Aid Bureau extend financial aid to cover those fees as well? And if not, what avenues can the applicants go to get aid for those fees? Thank you.
The Legal Aid Bureau looks at each case on its own merits. As I mentioned earlier, the criteria is set out there. We look at it in terms of valuing the legal services, deciding what's the right kind of lawyer or legal assistance that's needed, and this may on occasion also extend to the fees that are necessary. And obviously the bigger chunk of the resourcing that is needed, which legal aid helps with, would be the cost of the legal services, legal representation itself.